What up, peeps? Mr. Bones back at you, and it's St. Patrick's Day. So I watched a few movies based around St. Patrick's Day. Let's talk about them. First off, here I watched The Hollow for the first time. Made in 2015. Directed by Corin Hardy. Written by Corin Hardy, Philippe Marino, and Tom DeVille. Stars Joseph Mall, Bojana Novakovic, Michael McElhutton, can't really pronounce those, into a remote mill house in Ireland finds themselves in a fight for survival with demonic creatures living in the woods. Adam Hitchens, a British conservationist specializing in plant and fungal life. His wife Claire and baby son Finn travel to a remote Irish village surrounded by a large forest. While exploring the forest with Finn, Adam stumbles upon an animal carcass with a strange fungal substance that has burst open the body. Adam takes a sample and returns home with Finn, while Claire has an encounter with a local called Calm Donnelly, who seems unhappy that the family has moved in. Window in Finn's room is broken while he is sleeping. While the couple suspects the culprit is Calm in an attempt to scare them away, the police arrive and suggest that a bird flew in. The officers inform them of the legend about the surrounding forest that is inhabited by the Hollow, a breed of fairies, banshees, and baby stealers. Later, Adam spots strange movement in the woods, and Claire is puzzled by the fact that the windows of the house are all covered in iron bars. The next day, Adam and Finn arrive in town to replace a broken window when they are treated coldly by the villagers who repeat the legend of the Hollow. Calm arrives at the house again, frightening Claire, and warns her to leave before giving her an old book. Adam, Claire, and their baby Finn move to Ireland to survey the forest for his work, and he awakens the Hollow, which is all these evil creatures, and they want to steal Finn, the little baby. This movie has beautiful scenery, Ireland, the woods in Ireland. Cool ass effects, cool creatures. The monsters look really cool and crazy with these roots and stuff coming out of their heads. And the neighbor, Calm Donnelly, who was trying to warn them they shouldn't have came, they should get out of there, lost his daughter years ago. I can't remember if her name was Corinne or something like that. But these creatures keep showing up. They don't like light. Anything they touch, all this black goo and tree roots and stuff gets on. Like the walls and the ceilings of these people's house and inside their car. And they eventually snatch the baby. Well, before that, they're trying to get the family. This is toward the end of the movie, end of the movie, trying to get the family. And there's this one part where the dad is peeking through the keyhole to see what's going on outside, and one of them pokes him in the eye with this little stem from its fingernail, and it slowly infects the father, starts making him sick, and starts to turn into one of them. But the good of him overtakes the bad, and he looks weird, but he's still fighting for his family and trying to protect them. And eventually they get a hold of the baby and take off with it. The dad's like sick and turned over on the floor. The mom chases down the creature, and he's going across the water with the baby. It looks like it pulls the baby under the water, and the mom jumps under the water to grab the baby, runs back out with it, and takes it back home. But Adam says that it's not Finn. We must get rid of it. but it looks just like the baby, but he knows it's a changeling. So then he goes and finds the lair of all the creatures, and he finds the neighbor's daughter, which doesn't look like her anymore, but you could tell it was her. She has long blonde hair, but her face looks like some kind of pumpkin creature, and she's holding a baby. And he eventually fights them off and saves the baby. This is probably a messy review, but this is a damn good movie. Took me too long to get around to watching it. I really enjoyed it. Next up we have Crawlers. Directed by Brandon Zook. Written by Catherine Wignall and Mike Gann. Stars Georgia Wiggum, Pepe Sanuga, and Cameron Fuller. On St. Patrick's Day, a night of wild parties and drunken revelry, three unlikely friends band together to save a college town from a vicious horde of body-switching aliens. I could be wrong, but I think this is called Crawlers, based off the title of a pub crawl, like where you try to reach every pub in town, kind of like in World's End with Simon Pegg. This is a good movie. It has starts off with this pub, and you have Misty, Shauna, Eugene, and Chloe, and they're doing their thing, drinking beer and talking and partying, and slowly they know this weird stuff going on. And the town is overran by aliens who are switching bodies, and like they bite these kids and then they can clone them and look identical to them. And this movie reminds me of a mix between Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Faculty, which I love The Faculty, so I enjoyed this movie. It was fun. And then I watched Red Clover, aka Leprechaun's Revenge, from 2012, part of After Dark Originals. When I realized this was part of After Dark Originals, I thought, what took me so long to watch this or know about it? Because I like the After Dark films. But it must be the ones that say Horror Fest, After Dark, A Films to Die For, that have higher budget. Because it says, I thought, in between scenes, the way it pans over to the next scene, it looks like an effect I could do in my video editing software that I use for YouTube. So, and I see here on IMDb it says TV movie, so that explains it. It says a young woman accidentally releases a homicidal leprechaun while hunting, which brings back memories of her town's deadly past. This has Billy Zane in it. And then other names that I don't recognize. William Devane, Chase Bolton, Derek Babb, Kent Jude Bernard, Dave Davies, Matt Ferrano. The director is Drew Daywalt, written by Anthony C. Ferrante. And this movie has a cool idea. It stars Billy Zane, and then you've got his daughter, Karen, played by Courtney Halverson, and her grandpa are hunting, and she gets separated from him and sees a patch of clovers, 4-leaf clovers, and sees a red one, and couldn't help herself but to pick it. And the story goes in this movie is if you pick a red clover, you release a leprechaun that's buried in the ground, that's what happens. She picks it and like gets hot and disintegrates and burns the shape of a four-leaf clover in her palm of her hand, and that thing comes jumping out of the ground, which doesn't look like the traditional leprechaun we're used to, like in Warwick Davis. It looks like a smaller version of the creature from Pan's Labyrinth, but smaller and black. And this movie is low budget. The acting's not so great. I wanted to like it more than I did. I didn't hate it, but it is what it is. And this is the films I watched for St. Patrick's Day. Thanks for watching. Peace.